Welcome to another episode of the Sipping and Tripping podcast, where we connect with amazing people. Today's topic is about self-confidence, relationships, and breaking cycles. I am your host, Desmond Black, and the person that's sipping and tripping with me today is a recurring guest by the name of Miss Amy Riddick.
Hi
How you
guys.
doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a while, so we got to catch up a little bit.
Right?
Yeah. So you only got one day off a week now?
One day off a week now, and it's on Tuesdays.
That's rough.
It's very rough,
That's
especially
rough.
on the weekends. I'm like, I just want to sleep in.
I mean, how come you can't sleep? Oh, because you got to work in the morning.
I have to be there like at 8:20 because we have a meeting before we open at 9. So good news is it's literally less than 10 minutes from my house.
No, that's always a plus, but
Mhm.
that's rough.
Yeah.
Working 6 days to only have one day. I cannot imagine. But hey, you're doing it for a good cause.
I'm trying my best. I had a really good week last week, so hopefully the streak continues.
So what happened last week that it was such a good week?
So my part is I do the internet sales portion.
Right.
So it's my responsibility basically to get them through the door. And then from there, it's the like on the floor salesman's job to, seal the deal. And I had I've only been there what today's the 8th. So I've been there almost a month now.
Mm.
And just within that month, I've had almost 50 appointments set and about 25 to 30 of those have shown up, and then almost half of them have led to a car sale. So that's for a beginner, it's pretty good. Like I had 12 appointments in one day and 8 of them turned into a sale.
Mm. Okay. That sounds rough though. So it's like commission based, or how's that work?
So we get like a salaried pay on it. And then for every appointment that comes through the door, we get money paid for that. And then if it turns into a sale, then we get a double bonus on top of that. So we get money for the appointment for them coming, and then money for them leading to our car sale.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I
All
remember years
commission.
ago when I was like very young and I was like looking for a job and at this one dealership they had like big signs out there. So I went there and they gave me like a dry run and I was like, how you gonna give me a dry run? Like, and I just botched it. And they was like, yeah, it's not gonna be a good fit. I'm like, dang, that's how you interview people? That's crazy. Like, it's
Right?
no like I was like, shouldn't you hire somebody and just try to prep them for what's to come? And they said, yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so, all right, it is what it is. But and it's crazy because I can talk, but like just because you're a talker don't mean you're a good salesman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. So like last week you was talking about on your podcast you was talking about Orlando.
Mhm.
When do you plan on going there?
So it's the first. God, I can't talk today. It's the first week of July, so it is July 1st through July 5th. But
Okay.
I am gonna go down the day before the competition starts, so I'll be there from June 30th to July 5th, and then hopefully be home by the 6th, maybe. So I'll be
Okay.
home sometime between the 5th and the 6th.
Okay. Now I watched the podcast, but people that's unfamiliar. So what are you going down there for?
So I went to an open audition for it's basically like a talent company. They came to
Okay.
South Bend and they were at one of the conference centers. And I went down and I auditioned for like voice work and then for singing. So I got the call back, like email, text before I even got home that night, that they were like, "Hey, we really want you to come to Orlando and be in the showcase." So I will be down there, and the whole time that you're down there, you're literally working, building your resume for. Like there's going to be music producers down there. There's going to be Broadway producers down there. There's going to be people that do like TV commercials, movies, all kinds of things are going to be there. And the whole time that you're down there, you're in workshops building your resume. And like
Mm,
while you're doing those classes, there are production companies that are going to come and sit in and listen and watch people.
right,
So
right.
at the end of the week, there is this huge showcase where if you're modeling, you do a model walk. If you're singing, you do one song. If you're voice acting, then you do like one monologue, and then they kind of pick from there. But even if you don't get like quote unquote picked,
Right.
sorry, there are other people sitting out in the crowd that they're like, you know what? Just because this company that was the main like pickers, I guess, of this competition didn't choose you, I
Right.
liked what you had to offer. I'm going to offer you something. So either way, there's good potential to possibly get signed while you're down there.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, you drove me crazy too with trying to find that song on Spotify.
Oh,
It took me forever, and then you know what? Even when I asked you for the link, and you sent me the link. It wasn't a link. Like you clicked on it, it wouldn't work. So I was like, "This is crazy." So I put Mimi in there, and then I didn't try the same thing several times. It didn't work, and I put Mimi in, and it popped up, and I was like, How did it pop up now? And it didn't pop up before." So
Spotify
I
has been on
instantly,
something lately.
huh? You said
Spotify has
Spotify?
been on one lately. Like it's just been all kinds of jacked up.
A couple of different social media platforms been jacked up. I'm like, this is crazy. Like
Mhm.
I use this one networking app for for my podcast to find guests and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Owl app.
Oh, okay.
And that shit been malfunctioning. Like this morning, it open close, open close, open close. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I couldn't access nothing else on my phone. And then a notification said, try resetting your phone because the Owl app is malfunctioning. I'm like, come on. It's like it was. They said the site was crashing. I'm like, I don't care if the site crashing. Don't affect me from making calls or texting people. That's
Right.
crazy. But yeah. So I never told you about the Owl app. So like when I started doing the podcast, I met this one guy on Facebook. He told me about the Owl app, and at first I wasn't for using it, but then now that I'm using it all the time, it's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's got like entrepreneurs on there,
Oh, nice.
other podcasters, book authors, models, whatever you can think of, they have it on there. So yeah, you can just reach out to people. So the way it's set up is like you set your profile up. Now, if you don't put money on it, right? If you use the free version, it's like $1. So for me, like
Right.
somebody want to call me, it's $1 for 10 minutes. Now, the person, if they're having a good conversation or they want more time, they can request more time, and it's up for me. It's up to me to accept it or deny it.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can ask for 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, or 20 more minutes. So I've been socializing people like that, and that's why I got some of my new guests on an Owl app. So it's a great
Nice.
networking tool. um and then people set their prices as well. So some people is outrageous and I would never do it. Like it's somebody on there was like $55 for 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, no. $20 for 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, no.
This is not
For me,
romance, this is podcasting.
for for me, I won't call nobody if it's over $5. I ain't got it like that, because 10 minutes go by quick. Sometimes I'll be on a good conversation, I look, I'm like, dang.
Right.
And then and you know what annoys me, sometimes I request more time and they accept it, they approve it, and they'll hang up before the time is over. So I don't know if they prorated, because sometimes I see that some of the credits is still there.
Right.
Sometimes no. Like yesterday, I was on the phone with somebody, and I asked for 5 more minutes. We talked for one additional minute, and they still took away the $5 from me. I'm like, this is crazy. So that's the thing with that. So yeah, I don't know if that's something you're interested in, but like I could definitely give you the app. So and also like for me, because I'm a what you call it. I'm a not a subscriber. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm a member.
Right.
I can give you a promo code which gives you $10 credit.
Oh,
So then
okay.
like say yeah, so then you can try it out. So I just told my brother about it. He's now on it. I don't know if he uses it or not, but he's on it. So I gave him my credit because he get a credit and I also get credit for referring people. So like I said,
Yeah.
if it's something you're interested in, I could definitely point you towards that. And, you can tell me what you think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I try to reach out sometimes through not just the podcast groups, but a couple of other groups that I'm in. And they will flag my comment and take it out. And they're like, you violated community. And I'm like,
What?
how?
Wait, what are you saying that you getting flagged?
Well, I like my area, we have it's like called the 574 community or something. And I'm like, look, I'm trying to interview like small businesses, local bands, local artists, not just music, but, painting, acting, anything like that.
Hmm.
And they took my comment and they deleted it. And I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a
Yeah,
legitimate person. I'm not like some 10, character long name trying to sell you like internet or some stupid shit like that. I'm like, I'm a legit person. I'm just trying to interview and grow my community.
yeah, that's crazy when shit like that happens. Because sometimes people be in the way. They're like, come on, I'm trying to prosper here. I'm trying to grow my business, and you interfering with that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead with yourself.
Right?
But
Mm.
so all right, the first segment I want to talk about today is self confidence, right? So the first question I'm gonna ask you is this: what is self confidence to you?
Self-confidence, like for me personally, um, is kind of learning how to get out of my own head because I'm always my own worst critic
Hmm.
and learning how to overcome what I think people see me as. Like, I'm a bigger girl, I'm a plus size woman. Most of the United States is like, ew, that's so gross. You're probably just disgusting. Just because I got a little extra curves does not mean that I'm not smart, that I am not talented, that I am not an interesting person. So getting over that and getting out of my own head over my own fears, because I will tell you, I have got so much stuff that I have not posted and not shared because
Right,
I will listen to it, be like, I think my voice maybe cracked a little bit here. Or maybe I sounded just, maybe it just wasn't vibing so much. And I'll share it with like my best friend and she'll be like, I don't know why you're not releasing this. She was like, it's
right,
really good. And I'm like, no. And then I'll listen to it again. I'm like, okay, maybe I am being a little too critical of myself. So self confidence sometimes is not just getting past other people's perception of you, but getting over your own perception of yourself. Like, quit being so hard on yourself. Cause I've grown exponentially like in the last probably 6 months. And that's
right,
because I have learned to get out of my own head a little bit. So,
right,
self-confidence is first of all believing in yourself. Like everybody in the world can believe in you, but until you believe in yourself, it's not going to matter. And I feel like I have now because I'm like, you know what? I've heard some of these other people out here, and not to sound conceited, but I do sound a little bit better than they are. So quit being such a little baby. And plus, how are you going to get constructive criticism if you don't release something?
right.
If you don't
I got
try?
you.
Like that helps build your self confidence too. But like, you know what? I think this is really good, but I think you could, do, XYZ. Extra curves are good. Well, I must be fantastic.
Hey, in the amount of time that I've known you, I will say I think you're a phenomenal person. You're funny. You're funny. Sometimes you can be hard on yourself, but you're funny, and you're a talker just like I am. So people that can talk or love to talk as much as me, hey, that's a plus in my book.
Right? Absolutely. Never a dull moment.
Nah. So yeah, so let's talk about like general self-confidence a little bit, right? Like, so I just have like a series of questions and we both can go back and forth on and give our opinions on it, right? So let's see. Is self-confidence a natural trait or a skill that can be learned?
I kind of feel like it's both.
Okay. Tell me why.
I feel like some people are just born very like charismatic. Like they just have that charm. Like nothing, like they could wear the ugliest shirt in the world. And because they've got enough belief in themselves, the shirt looks
Right.
fantastic on them. Other
Right.
people, it is something that they have to learn how to build. Like
Right.
for me, for example, I, we've shared briefly, my past experience. So wasn't in the best of relationship. Very much I lost who I was. And so I had to dig deep into myself and realize I am, God, I'm gonna sound conceited. I promise I'm not conceited. I'm a good looking kid. Like I'm cute, you know. I may have a little, a little more, curves and stuff going on, but
Question.
I know how to dress myself. Like I know how to present myself well. I have other areas of talent, and it's just digging into that. And sometimes you have to build that self-confidence in yourself. And then there's other people that are just born with it. Like you could not knock them out of the sky if you tried. And then there's other people where you look at them and they're like, "Oh God, no." And that's me.
So, so this is the thing. So, are they really born with it, or is that something that was instilled into them? Because when we're born, we don't know right from wrong or anything like that, right? And we
Right.
don't have a sense of identity. So, I think for me, I think that self confidence is something that's learned, right? I think that's like a learned trait. Right? Like I don't think it's a natural trait because naturally it'd be like you just come out the womb and you'd be like, yeah, I know I got it like that, right? Because once you're a baby, you don't know how you're going to evolve.
Mhm.
You might grow up and you might have a deficiency or something. So I don't think it's natural. I think it's just the people, places, and things, right? Like when you grow up and people might give you all these compliments, or if for a woman, if guys just sweating them, they just want them so much, and it's a lot of guys that want them. I think it's just something that like that builds their ego, right? It strokes their
Mhm.
ego, and it just that gives them the confidence. So I think it's something that's learned, or always being picked first for sports or
Mhm.
for activities. So I think for me, I think it's a learned thing. I don't think it's a natural thing.
I can see
Um,
that.
because you got to grow into yourself. But I can see
Sometimes
where
more
some
than
people will
once.
feel like. Say it again.
Sometimes more than once.
Yeah. So like but I can see how some people might look at it as like a natural trait, like for the people that ever since they can remember it, they had this extreme confidence for themselves. For them, they might feel like it's natural, but like I said, I think it's a trained behavior or a trained thought process because if you think about anything in life, it's for the most part like the way we speak, the way we dress. It's just like how our parents groomed us, right? Like so,
Mhm.
our parents is the foundation to our being, right? So yeah, that's how I would answer that.
I like
Um,
that answer.
is it more important to be confident or humble?
Oh, I hmm, that's a tough one
It's tough. All right,
because
so I go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
All right, so for me, is it more important to be confident or humble? Now, I look at both of them as being equally important, right? But we said which one is more important. I think it's more important to be humble because if you put your confidence on a pedestal and you put it at the forefront of your being, it's going to push a lot of people away, right? Like most people, they don't like cockiness or too much arrogance or somebody that's a narcissist or things like that.
Right.
And and that comes from like control. Like narcissists, they offer control, right? So, and why they want to be controlling because they feel like they're God. They want to play God often, right? So it's being humble is more valuable because a lot of people don't possess that trait, right? So when you're able to people take somebody give you a compliment and you're like, oh, thank you, right? It goes a long way because then you got the people that are haters. We call them haters, right? They look at it like, oh, this motherfucker like always piss me off. They know they the shit, but they act like they ain't the shit. So it bothers
Mhm.
them. And then the people that like, you know, like basically what I'm saying is it's just a more valuable trait to have, being humble. And growing up, my father used to tell me and my brother about being humble all the time. And I, growing up, man, like when I was in high school, and stuff, I wasn't trying to be no humble. I value my arrogance too much. I was just that my confidence. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then as I got older, I used to say, well, I'm not arrogant. I'm just highly confident, right?
Mhm.
But once you start saying highly confident, now you going into the realm of arrogance, right? So like
Mhm.
I just think humble for me. Now I'm gonna swing it back to you. Humble or confident?
So I'll get to that. I think there is a difference too between being confident and just being cocky. Like there's a huge difference. And
Mm.
cuz confident is you can back that up.
Yeah.
Cocky is I'm running my mouth and hoping to God no one asks me to back this shit up. And then I love the people that call those people's bluffs and then they just go down in flames.
So I would say that's a sickness. So for me, like if you arrogant, you better have a reason to be arrogant, right?
Yeah,
Now if you know people that comes off as being arrogant, but they can't back it up, that's sick. They need
that
to talk to
is.
somebody. That they really need to talk to. So like when I was in the newspaper every week, that's where my shit come from. And when I go to from school to school, and I never seen them, never spoke to this person, and they were like, "Your name Roy, right?" I'm like, "How do you know that?" I'm like, "Come on, man, everybody know you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And that was me for a long time. And I had to change my ways, man, because as I got older, like you know how they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mhm.
I could for years I was using the same tricks, the same verbiage, but then after a while, when I was getting older, people started looking at me like, "Oh, you still stuck in them high school days." Right. So then I had to change. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, I did this, I did that, or I'm this good. And I'm like, who wants to hear that? Like, once you mature, when you get to a certain level, you don't worry about
Mhm.
all that. Like, how about you try to uplift somebody instead of putting yourself on a pedestal all the time?
Right.
So then I started being humble and I got a lot more like feedback and appreciation from people and a lot more people. They started looking at me differently, right? So for me as a man, I was like, I'd rather be humble than to express my confidence. Like I think if you're confident, it should be with self, right? Like you're
Right.
confident. Keep that to yourself type of thing. That's me. You don't have to rub it in people's faces because nobody likes that. I know I can't if somebody is arrogant or nonstop, I know I don't like that shit. It's annoying,
Mhm.
right? Like especially if you don't ask them about their accolades or their highlights in life and they just every no matter what the conversation is, they just can't help themselves to be like, oh, I did this, or tap you, like,
Mhm.
huh? You didn't do this. What you do with your life? Like that's just corny to me. So for me, I think it's more important to be humble. Now you said you
I
was gonna go back
agree
to
with
that.
that too. Like
Okay, okay,
in everything that I do, like I'm getting the confidence to do it, to put it out there, but I am humble enough to know that there is always going to be someone that is going to be better at something than me
mm,
in any aspect, whether it's podcasting, singing, whatever it is that I'm going to do. I know there's someone that's going to come along and they're going to have the upper hand on me. But I do my best and I'm appreciative for everything that I've done. I'm appreciative for everything, that's helped me get that far. Supports and things like that. But yeah, definitely being humble, I think overconfidence.
right, okay. So does having high self confidence lead to better outcomes in life?
I don't think that it hurts, but I think also hand in hand with having that high self-confidence and everything, you need to have a good grasp on reality too. To
Right,
know I'm confident to go after this and do this, but it
right,
may not work.
right,
It may blow up in my face and there are going to be people that are going to try to tear me down while I'm doing this. So also having that self-awareness too that you can be as confident as you want. Great. That's going to help push you and motivate you, but also be prepared for people that see that again, maybe as arrogance or that they're jealous because they don't have the confidence to do that. Henceforth, the
mm.
trolls and the keyboard warriors.
I like that keyboard warriors. I never heard that. I love that though. That's yeah, keyboard warriors. I love that. And this is the thing you brought up, like people that envy you or some people that's jealousy. I mean, jealous, right? This is the thing. What comes from people that's jealous? They want to take you down, right?
Mhm.
So the more arrogant you are, you're gonna have a whole village of people that's trying to tear you down or bring you down. Um, so it's like, why would you put yourself out there to be surrounded by a bunch of people that want to attack you? You
Mhm.
want people to love you and try to help you prosper and help you elevate whatever it is that you're confident about, right? So for me, it's like, why not take that approach as opposed to saying, fuck everybody. I want them to hate me, or I'm trying to give them a reason to want to bring me down, right? And
Right.
that's just how I look at it. So the question was, does having high self confidence lead to better outcomes in life? This thing, yes and no. So the thing is, when you have high self confidence, that's a good motivation tool, right? So that means you're locked in mentally on pursuing your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. So in that aspect, yes, it can be lead to better outcomes in life, but at the same time, as we were saying, like when you overdo it, and when you say when you attach that high to the self confidence, that's more like an arrogant thing to me. Now, like I said, you're creating this whole village, this whole region that wants to come and bring you down, right? Because of the whole jealousy thing,
Mhm.
you know. So you need to surround yourself with like-minded people. You need to surround yourself with people that's going to help elevate you. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult for people to do that and have those people around them when you giving them a reason to not like you, or wish wish on your downfall,
Right.
or you know. So so that's the thing with that, man. Like, so it's you got it should be a balance. Like everything else in life, it's a balance. You just got to find it. You got to navigate life as you see fit, right? Like you live and you learn. So if you're doing something excessively, it's going to show,
Mhm.
because somebody going to show you, or somebody going to tell you, or like I said, people, places, and things. You're gonna know when you overdo something.
Oh
So
yeah.
you have to be confident, but don't be overconfident, because that's going to be your downfall. Um, so that leads me to my next question: is it possible to be too confident?
Yes. Absolutely. 110%. It is very, very possible to be
Mm.
way too
That,
confident.
where do you think that comes from? The people that choose to be way too confident.
So this is just my own thoughts.
Okay.
So let's say I'll say we've got Joe Blow over here,
Hmm.
and he has just been like killing it his entire life. Let's say with sports ball. So he's been, like the star quarterback his entire life. Like everybody has built him up, and he is like, I am the shit. Like
Hmm.
this, nobody is better than I am. Okay, that may be in high school, that may be in college, but then you get to the pros, and they're like, oh, you know what? Really not that good. I think we're gonna pass.
Knock you down a little bit.
Knock you down, a little bit. And sometimes I feel like because family love you so much, sometimes there's so much confidence in there that some of it may not be like true confidence,
Mm.
that that's where that you have to have that in yourself and put in that work and know that I can do this, not just everybody in my little small town says I'm fantastic and says that I'm great. Then you get with the big boys and they're like, yeah, maybe not so much.
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah,
She's,
definitely too much.
she said everyone gives them too much attention. Ego
Yes.
gets way too big. So this is my thing. So
Tom Brady.
this is my thing. So we talk about too much confidence, right? I think a lot of that comes from people growing up and not getting validation. I think a lot of people that have traumas, or they are fighting demons in their life, or they don't feel valued or appreciated. I think those are the ones that are way too confident, right? Because now they get a little bit of attention or notoriety, right? Like, and they latch onto that, and then they don't know nothing else because now they feel famous. This is
Mhm.
their moment where they feel special and they feel like they're on top of the world. So I honestly feel like the people that's way too confident are the ones that's hurt, that's going through traumas, that's fighting demons, And that's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Even if I apply that to my own life, like the times that I was like way too confident, like I know I didn't get the recognition that I feel like I deserved. You know, like I told you how I went from school to school and people know who I was and I didn't know who they was. But guess what? I had family that didn't give me recognition. I had
Mhm.
family that tell me, oh, you see me in the newspaper? I used to walk around with newspaper articles or my high school letters, you know, they go on the leather
Mhm.
jacket and stuff. And I have family say, okay, you still ain't shit. So hearing that and growing up with that, right? And
Mhm.
that's I was at war with myself all the time. Like I felt like I had to prove something not only to myself but to the world. Not necessarily to my family, but to the world.
Right.
So when I apply that to my own life, yeah, that's where I think it comes from. You know, I latched onto that, like, oh yeah, now I'm doing something. I'm moving in the right direction. People notice me.
Mhm.
So now I want to make sure everybody else notice me. So speaking about me and my life, that's where my overconfidence came from.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Is that something you can relate to or
Trying to like give yourself like self-validation.
right? So yeah, that goes back to what I was saying. I think a lot of times that's where it comes from. So it's crazy as I get older and I analyze people. Like I always had this thing about with for sociology and psychology. You know, in psychology, you know, it's the study of people. Sociology is it's basically it's almost the same thing, but it's like
Mhm.
being social. And you start to, like body language and all that stuff. So I started reading people and I started looking at certain things, and especially if I dealt with certain things and I take stuff from my life, I extract things from my life, and I look at other people and I'm like, okay, I think this is what's going on with this person.
Mhm.
So sometimes they might come off as the nastiest person in the world, but like I know how to take a step back and say, you know what, I'm not going to take offense to that. I'm not going to let that bother me because I think they're hurting inside,
Mhm.
right? And hurt people, healed people, heal people.
Mhm.
So just because you hurt don't mean I'm gonna hurt you back, right? I'm
Mhm.
gonna try to heal you. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try to guide you and motivate you to be better. I want to be able to give back to people. I want to be able to pick you up when you're down, and that's
Mhm.
who I am, right? So that's that. Um, how can we help each other build self confidence? So now when I say that, I'm not talking about for ourselves, for other people. How can we, as peers or community, help the next one build their self confidence?
So I will I have someone that I do a show with,
Okay.
and they're always like down on themselves like when they're doing things. And I think this person is fantastic at what they do. They do need a little like self-confidence boost, but they have taught me so much in like the short time that I have known them about not just like hosting a podcast, but like audio feeds, webinar faces. Like they have put so much confidence in me that I'm trying to pour that back into them. And sometimes
Mm,
it's a little difficult. Sometimes they're not so receptive, but I really wish that they would be because they are very, very smart and they are very, very talented. Like some of the things that they do, like as side projects, my mind is blown. Like I could never
right.
do that ever. This person hosts, like, they help me with my podcast. We co-host one together, but then they co-host like 5 other shows,
Mm,
and
that's
they're
big.
great at it. But
Right.
they're always like, "Oh, no, I think I sounded like this," or "I didn't know what I was supposed to do," or "I bombed this interview with someone." And I'm like, "I don't know why you feel like that." Like,
Right.
sometimes
Right.
it is seeing it through someone else's eyes. Like, when I do my stuff live, that's why I hide behind 95% of my stuff. I'm not confident. Like, I'm good at the, like,
Yeah.
audio portion of it, but I feel like I'm so awkward during the face-to-face part of it. And I feel like that's what trips him up sometimes, and I'm like, "I don't know why you don't think that you're good because you really are." Like,
Right. Right.
he
Right.
interviewed me, no problems, but he had someone else that was gonna be on the show, and he's like, "It was horrible." I'm like, "It wasn't horrible. You got shook a little bit because his co-host canceled on him last minute."
Yeah, and that sucks. That always sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, I I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "You do the show. Like, you've
Yeah.
got this." And
Hmm.
it was not bad. at all. I went back and I watched it, and it was a really good job. Like, it's just some people, like you said, they never got that validation anywhere else.
Right.
And when someone tries to give them that, like pour back into them, they don't know how to perceive it.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
I think you're just, blowing smoke up my ass or something. And it's like,
Right.
no, it's like you really do have all of the tools to succeed. Just a little bit of fine tuning and you're gonna kill it. He's already killing it. And I
Right.
just sometimes it's hard because I know for myself when someone tries to say, "Hey, I think you're really good at this," or "I think you're really good at that," I'm like, "Stop, stop."
See, that's something you got to work on, though. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know
So,
it's
like,
hard.
so it's all about surrounding ourselves with like-minded people and
Mhm,
positive people, right? Like, if you're a negative person, you're gonna be attracted to negative things and negative people, right? And if you're a positive person, you got to surround yourself with positive people, right? And so the question was, how do we help the next one build their self-confidence? It's all about continuing to be that ear for them, being that
mhm,
support for them, and honesty is a big thing. Honesty, because guess what? If you're friends, if you're real friends with somebody, you're true friends, then honesty should be very important, and you should be able to accept constructive criticism and
mhm.
pointers, especially when they ask you, because a lot of people ask for advice and stuff, but they really don't want to hear
No, they
nothing
don't.
other than, yeah. If it ain't what they believe or what they
Mhm,
want to hear, they really don't want to hear it. So that's always a confusing thing why people ask if they don't really want the answers. But that's how we build self confidence in the next person. Just being honest and just effective communication and effective listening as well, and just being supportive. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
because this is the thing. Like if you think about kids, your kids, if they do talent shows, they're not really good in the beginning, but you still stroke their ego. You tell them, "Oh, good job," because guess
Mhm,
what? You're gonna live and you learn. You're gonna learn whether if it's for you or if it's not for you. So if
mhm.
somebody sugarcoat or water things down, or they lied to you and tell you you're good, well, you're not. Well, you're gonna find out, right? But that'll be the hard way. So that's why I say you should be able to take constructive criticism because if somebody say, "Listen, this is what I think," or "I don't think it's working," it's on you to take heed to what they say or continue to fail, right?
Mhm,
But at the end of the day, it's not about bashing them. It's about giving them a critique, an honest
mhm.
critique, um, and just being positive. So for me, that's how we do it. You got to love on each other, right? Because love is a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Let them know that they appreciate it, they value it. Anything under that umbrella is special, and that's how you build somebody's confidence. And just walking the walk with them, taking
Mhm,
that journey with them, and that's going to build their confidence. Because guess what? It sucks when you're at the bottom. It sucks being lonely. When you feel like
mhm,
you ain't got nobody else, it sucks, and you ain't gonna have confidence. You're going because you always gonna feel like you're by yourself. But if you have somebody, a companion, or that ear, or that shoulder, or somebody that's walking with you, or step by step, taking that journey with you, that's going to help build your self confidence and your self esteem. So for me,
absolutely.
that's what I was saying. Anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I think you pretty much said it all.
With your big old smile. Look at your smile. I ain't seen that in like a hot minute. Uh,
It's nice to smile again.
you said smile again. When's the last time you smiled? You make it seem like you were stuck in purgatory.
Who knows? I may have been.
Oh shit. Okay, we're gonna move to this question. Does social media negatively impact self confidence?
Oh my god, yes.
Tell me why.
So, um, I'm gonna go back to being a woman. Um, you know, society has told us we only want to see perfect women on screens, on social media adverts, on television, on anything that our eyeballs land on. We only want to see a perfect person.
Right.
But there are so many beautiful women that come in all shapes and sizes.
Right.
And society is like, "Oh, your face is really like your face is pretty, but everything else about you is just horrible." your skin doesn't, your skin's not smooth. You have cellulite, you're not a size 2 or a size 0, and it's like, but beauty comes in all shapes and sizes. And
That is
because you
true.
don't look like that, it makes you feel bad. Like I look at myself, when I'm doing this and I'm like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "Ah." But it doesn't take away from inside beauty either. And
Right.
sometimes that is more it's got more sustenance than a physical appearance of beauty. Because 'Cause I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of really pretty people that are really, really shitty inside, and it
Yeah.
kills anything that they have going on out here. So
You're right.
it does, like, it tears your confidence down. Like, I had, I'll use this for example. Um, when I was on a dating website, I put on there, very honestly, I'm a bigger girl. I had a full length, body shot on there. I am not trying to catfish anyone by no means whatsoever. And I got some pretty positive feedback. They're like, "Hey, you're pretty cute." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." But then I had one person, because I did not respond to them the way they wanted me to,
Mm,
go after my confidence in myself.
mm.
They're like, "What, you won't even talk to me?" I'm like, "I did talk to you. I'm sorry. We want different things. I'm not interested." I was very nice. And he's
Right.
like, "You should be thankful that I'm even talking to you, you fat fuck."
See, this is
And
like
it
it's people. Like
killed
I
me.
said,
Someone I didn't even know.
that's what I'm saying. Hurt people. And so, I'm gonna tell you something my father used to tell me growing up. It's like when people act like that, you just gotta smile inwardly and just
Mhm.
have in your mind that you either gonna be their boss or one day they're gonna be looking at you as somebody and when they at the bottom, right? Like you can't let that affect you. One of the most attractive things is this when a woman walk in their walk or walk in their purpose, when a woman is confident in who they are, no matter what their appearance is, that is sexy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So you have to embrace who you are and just
Right.
have that confidence and don't worry about what nobody else say because as long as you love you, that's all that matters, right? And the more you love yourself, that's also sexy. That's also attractive. And people are going to see that and they're going to be like, damn, all right. No matter how many times she got put down, no matter what's been thrown her way, she's still standing with her chin up and her chest out and walking with confidence.
Mhm.
And that right there, that's radiant. That's that energy that's gonna stand out, you know?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you smiling, but I'm serious. You
No,
that's how
no,
you
I
have to be.
know.
You have to walk that walk and talk that talk.
Mhm.
And don't
You
worry
do,
about
and
nobody else.
it's
Look
taken
in
a
the
long
mirror.
time to get over, like that negative
Yeah.
connotation where it's like, "You know what? I may have, 2 chins, but they're still really nice chins."
It's crazy. So you make jokes about stuff, and that's cool. That's cool, right? So, like I said, um, yeah, man, just be who you are, man, and
Mhm,
just continue to love yourself. Don't worry about all the negativity, man. You're a positive
mhm,
person, and just continue to be positive, and positive things will come your way. And that's just how life works, you know. So for me to answer that question, do I think that social media negatively like impacts self confidence? I do, because what you said, and also it's not just that. It's just social media is affecting people all across the board, you know.
mhm.
Like you said, with like the clothing and things of that nature. Like even for me, when I go to the store, I don't want to wear no skinny jeans, but I thought that was phased out, but apparently not. When I go try to get clothes, I'm like, damn, skinny jeans. I'm like, fuck. So a
Yeah.
lot of times I'm like, I can't find nothing. People are like, what you mean you can't find nothing? Now I got some skinny jeans and shit, but the crazy thing is I wear them, and sometimes women be like, oh shit. That shit, I like how that just embrace your curves and shit. I'm like, that's weird. You telling me I got curves, but okay.
Men have
So
curves too.
it's crazy. These women be talking about, "Oh, you got a black girl ass and shit like that." I'm like, that's super weird, but that's something I get a lot. And I'm like, it's these damn jeans. It's crazy, but yeah. I go on the internet and try to look for jeans that's not skinny jeans. Nowadays it's hard not to. Now they just started this new phase. Like they're not bell bottoms or elephant pants, but they almost like it. It's like
Uh-huh.
It fits you regular, but at the bottom, whew. And the
It's
crazy thing,
like
I
a
said I would,
flare style.
yeah, and I was like, I would never buy them. But guess what? I just bought a pair the other day. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be different. And now I just got to find something to match with it. And I was like, I know how to dress. So like once I put it on and put the whole outfit together, people gonna be like, yeah. Cause that's something I'm about to start doing. I'm about to start taking hella pictures and just do a bunch of photo dumps.
Like, ooh, who's that?
Yeah, because I did that before, and it's just like the attention that I got. I'm like, yeah, I like that. 'Cause just like women, men want attention too. Everybody
Yeah.
want attention. So
Men want to be
I love
told
it.
that they're pretty too.
Well, I don't know about the word pretty, but yeah. But yeah, of course, of course. So that's what I'm about to start doing. But like it's crazy. Like social media is out of hand. Like academically, kids ain't where they
Yes.
need to be because of social media. Like in my town, like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, this girl, she was oh shit. I want to botch this. I think she was like 9 years old. She was young.
Mhm.
She killed herself because of social media.
Mhm.
Oh, what's up? What's up, Lean? Yeah, she had killed herself because of like social media, and then she's felt like she was body shamed and shit.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's bad at a young age to want to take your life because of social media. So it's
Mhm.
one thing that like the government or all these companies they gotta make changes. They have to. You know how companies we talk about inclusion and
Mhm.
diversity and stuff. I think they just say those things because it's politically correct and it sounds
Mhm.
good. I think they really need to hone in on that shit and really put it out there. Like, okay, plus size women or whatever, or and then that'll help them with their confidence.
Mhm.
But they don't do that because they don't see the dollar. They
Yep.
don't see a dollar sign in that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
they still talk about this real skinny girl. And truth be told, it's a lot of men out there. I don't know if you can make a survey. We can have a survey. Like shit, men like big girls. It's just it is what it is. Like that's the truth. I've been attracted to. Yeah, she said BBW winning. That's true. That's
So
true. And,
I
and
never
the crazy,
knew though until like I started like until like I got divorced and I started dating. I
yeah,
never knew that big girls were like a thing. And I'm like,
right, bro.
this
I'm
whole
gonna tell you,
time I've been
yeah,
hiding and when I should have been like, what's up?
right in the open. Yeah. Listen, the one thing that stands true, right, in personal experience, bigger girls, they're split splash. That splash waterfalls over there. You know what I'm saying? That's something these little anorexic girls, they ain't gonna do that for you. It's just I don't know what it is or why it is. It's just my whole life I knew that. I'm like, this is crazy. The bigger girls, I need a snorkel, I need goggles, I need a buoy, I need all that shit. I might drown. That thing split splash. Like
You turned into Scuba Steve.
yeah, yeah. And so they winning in my book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely winning in my book, man. Like shit. And I've talked to my brothers or other people, man, and they agree. They're like, I don't know what it is. It's just facts. And for a man, when you get in that water like that, you ain't gonna want to leave that. You want to rest your
You're gonna
head there.
chase
You want
that
to make sure you're
waterfall.
home. You gonna chase that waterfall. You're terrible. So, um, does having a positive body image lead to greater self confidence?
um, I think so. Like if you feel like, you don't need to wear a brown paper bag over your head when you walk outside, I think it helps.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You're like,
it
I could
definitely
look at
helps.
me with the lights on, like I could do this.
Now, I don't know in Indiana if you heard of the moose knuckles, but she said dudes love them
Yes.
moose knuckles. Oh, you heard of that
I'm
too?
I'm very, very aware of what that is.
So you know what's crazy? Like a year ago, I heard that, and somebody kept saying moose knuckle. I had no idea, and I had to ask, and I didn't want to ask because I didn't want to look stupid. But when I found out, I'm like, that's the silliest thing. But the more I hear it, then I'm like, yeah, yeah. It's like with women, they look at the dudes and they're like, oh, I see the print. Like you, you see them that shit. What you say? Uh, Stop it, Lean. Don't do that. She said, "I know who." Yeah, she know who first was saying that shit to me. But yeah, shit. men like the moose knuckles, man. Shit, you just start to get the image in your head. You like, yes, sir. I know what
That's
it's hitting
why I
for.
wear leggings.
Huh? You said that's why you wear leggings. Oh
I
man, you
said that's why I
terrible.
can't wear leggings.
Oh, you you bad. You bad. You're gonna be in timeout tonight.
I am. It's
But
okay.
you know, a lot of women wear leggings for that reason and other reasons. Because
Mhm.
listen, thing, girls that ain't got no ass, they wear leggings. It look like they got ass, just like sundresses.
Yeah.
That's what summertime. I fucking love it. You see a whole bunch of sundresses, you be like, shit. My appetite, my appetite is just it's through the roof. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
I actually
Like, what's
just
on the
got a new
menu today?
sundress today before
There
before I
you go.
came on, and I got cowgirl boots to go with it.
Oh shit, here you go. It's warm enough for all that shit in Indiana.
I didn't say it was warm enough, but I still bought it.
Oh, so you out there promoting? That's another story.
I like and it's crazy because like during the wintertime, I am a pants and leggings with a very long shirt kind of person and some boots.
Right.
But during the summer, it's all skirts and all dresses.
Mm.
Like, I am a fan of that because there are very few things that and I'm working on this to love every part of myself and every part of my body, but I have very nice legs, and I
Mm.
like to showcase that during the summer, so that's
Sad,
why I have
yes.
the dresses and the skirts.
Promoting. I see you. See, it's crazy. You said you feel like you got good legs and you like to show them off, but then you said you like to hide yourself. Like you got to pick a lane and just, you know what I'm saying?
I know, I flip-flop back and forth 'cause, with anything else, like, we have our high days and we have our low days. Like,
Mm.
today, I feel like I'm having a high day today where I was like, "You know what? I kinda like the vibe that I'm given today." But then there are other days I'm like, "Ooh, nobody loves me to let me out of the house like this."
Oh man,
But like anything
yeah.
else, it just depends.
But it's just who you are. Because what'd you tell me a long time ago? You're like a cross between what? Would you say a Rox Roseanne and what? Would you say Kelly Bundy or something? Is that what you said?
I said some days I'm like June Cleaver, other days I'm like Peggy Bundy or Roseanne.
Yeah, see, that's a weird ass combination. So like when you told me that, I was trying to get a visual of somebody that's a combination. I was like, yeah, that's like shit. Some
So, like,
days
one
are
day we
easier than
may be
others.
having organic chicken and, like, steamed vegetables, and another day I'm like, "You know what? Here's some pizza, because that's all I got."
Nothing wrong with ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you was I think you was telling me like your personality wise, and I was like, that's different. I'd never heard that kind of that combination before.
Because there are some days when everybody has their shit together, and I do kind of feel like June Cleaver. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the kids are getting along, everything is fantastic, we're having such a great day," and then there was a day, like, a couple of weeks ago where I don't know, I guess it was a free for all WWE in the middle of my living room, and I had to, like, scream like I was a lunatic for everybody just to sit down and shut the
You should have joined them. You should have made it like a family event. You should have, you know what I'm saying, brought laughter. Because
moms
I bet you
dropping
if you would have,
elbows.
yeah, people's elbow, they probably would have laughed. They would have like, my mom crazy. They probably do think you crazy. I don't know, but
Oh, they definitely do. Like,
but it's all
there's
about create. It's all about creating moments, though. That's all. Putting
absolutely.
smiles on faces and stuff. I got a good question though. Is it more important to be confident in your abilities or confident in your appearance?
I I personally myself feel like it's more about your abilities versus your appearance. But
Mm,
also on that flip side, everyone again, because that is what's put out in front of us, they're gonna look sometimes for the prettiest person, not the most qualified person. But for me, it absolutely is all about your abilities because that person that looks fantastic on like, pictures and everything else, they may absolutely suck at that job. But
right,
because you chose some cheap ass sweater and just showcased what your strong suits were, like, say like for marketing, your marketability, they're going to look at this,
right,
not so much what you can bring to that division. And that
right,
sucks. Like, I would rather have someone that knows what they're doing, that may have a blue sock and a black sock, and like maybe their pants are a little high watered or whatever, but
Right.
they know what they're doing. I'm going to follow that person versus the person who's wearing a $2,000 suit.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, just like anything else in life, it's different levels of things, and it's different avenues that you can take, right? But for me, let's see, being more confident in abilities versus appearance. I mean, of course, I would say abilities, right? Because appearance can only take you so far, right? So when
Yep.
we talk about appearance, right, like if you looking to be confident in your appearance, well, that's only for likes, views, and a little bit
Mhm.
of attention. But like longevity wise, as far as like a business or success, your appearance ain't gonna take you nowhere, right? It
Nope.
might get you a job faster, but
Mhm.
that's a short term thing. Like you, okay, now you got the job. Now what? If you're
Right.
not confident in your abilities, where you gonna go?
Mhm.
Right? You have to um, do things with conviction. Right? You have to believe in yourself. Without belief in yourself, you have no abilities.
Nope.
So it's better to be confident in your abilities, in my opinion, because that's going to be more beneficial.
Mhm.
Appearance ain't shit, right?
Nope.
Your abilities is going to put food on your table. Ability is going to give you a paycheck. Appearance ain't going to do that.
Nope.
I mean, unless you're trying to be a stripper or sell yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you
Because
if you
then your
go
looks are gonna kinda matter.
if you're gonna give your temple to somebody for like a quick $5, I mean, well, you're degrading yourself. So
Right.
so so where's your abilities in that, right? Like, so you just somebody's side chick that don't care about you, and yeah, you have no ability. So that's your only ability is to give yourself to somebody. That's it. So people that's like that, they all they doing is being a detriment to themselves. They just degrading themselves. And when we talk about self confidence, well, if you gotta stoop that low, then you don't have confidence in yourself,
Nope.
right? Because you gotta find the better qualities of yourself, the better abilities to make a living and make money.
Mhm.
And that's what you should want to be known for, your abilities, not your appearance. Because once people only want to associate with you because of your appearance, you need to control alt delete them out your life. They're not there
Mhm.
for you. Right. So that's how I would answer that. So
And I'll say that for my own personal experience. So I float between different stores. We have
different
one
what?
store. I float between our different dealerships.
Okay.
We have one. The girl is very cute. She is, in her words, treated like a princess,
Mm,
but she has zero personality, zero interpersonal skills.
right.
And I float between that store and they're like, you know what? She's personable. She knows how to instantly engage with people. Like, there are other things that you need to have besides a pretty face. Like, you
Absolutely.
gotta have some sustenance behind that.
Hmm.
And finding both of those in one thing is sometimes a task. It does happen.
Right.
But that's why I have always said, like in my personal relationships, like romantic relationships, I am a vibe over visual person
Mm,
all day long because all of this changes. It's going to. Yes, a brain. You got to have a brain.
right.
Not just a brain, but a brain that processes things the way that they should be processed.
Right.
And some people don't have that. And it's why make it harder on yourself?
Right.
Like, I know you can't grow a personality, but work on your interpersonal skills.
Yeah. Like to add to that, I'm gonna say this. It's like from I'm gonna use myself as an example. It's like, okay, you got this. If I had a pretty face that lacked abilities, right? And we're adults now. We're grown, and now we're talking about prospering. We talk about growing together. We talk about
Mhm.
paying some bills, and you
Right.
don't have the tools or the intellect to be able to do so. That
Mhm.
pretty face ain't helping me. So I look at
Nope.
life like it's either going to benefit or be a detriment, right? That's a detriment to me. You're pleasing to look at, but you can't be an adult. You can't be a grown
Mhm.
ass woman. Now, you take a woman that's maybe appearance wise is not the prettiest, but she's a go getter. She know how
Mhm.
to she know how to provide. She know how to go out there and get it and put in that work. That's attractive to me.
Mhm.
Now we're moving in the right direction.
Right.
So I'd rather take this chick over this chick any day. Matter of fact, when I was younger, right? Say if it was threes, right? Let's look at it in threes. You got a girl that's she's at the bottom. You got somebody that's in the middle. Is okay. You got somebody. I'm like, damn, she banging. I never went for the one that was banging, right? Like I always went for the middle one, because in doing so, now you the one at the bottom, you make her want to step her game up. Like, damn, all right,
Mhm.
well, shit. Why he ain't go for her? Anybody else would go for her, right? So it makes her want to step her game up. And then the one that's too confident, the one that's arrogant, now she's mad at herself and she's mad at you. She want to curse you out because she's like, how dare you choose this bitch over me? Now she's now at somewhere in her mind, her subconscious, she's like, oh nah. I ain't gonna let her beat me. She ain't gonna best me.
Mhm.
So now she want to do what she got to do to get on her level. Now she's at war with herself, tossing, turning at night, trying to figure out why I chose her over her. So that's
Yep.
what I used to do when I was growing up, man. So it's the same thing, man. It's about either it's going to be beneficial or be a detriment.
Yep.
And a pretty face that can't do nothing for me is a detriment. So,
Absolutely. It does fade away. And that's why you've got to have that connection. And
mm-hmm.
that's why, for me, personality is a big thing, is a huge thing. If you and I can effectively communicate and you make me laugh, it's going to be a good
you,
time.
you saw me or you saw in general?
No, in general. You
Oh,
make me laugh all the time.
I thought you saw me. I was about to say, yeah, I know.
No, we know on
Terrible.
many occasions you have made me laugh.
Oh, I know. I know how to put a smile on your face too. I know. So look, so should schools focus more on building students' self-confidence?
They should.
Mm,
Again, I feel like there are kids that get overlooked because they don't have the right amount of money. They don't wear
mhm.
the right clothes. Like their family may be, influential or what have you. And I feel like there's kids that maybe they don't have the nicest clothes or, what you giggling at?
Oh no, because I got a
Whatever.
text message. No, my bad, my bad. I got a text message. Remember we was talking about when I was like, somebody told me I have a black girl's ass or whatever. Somebody texted me and said, "Yeah, what's up, bubble butt?" Like that's why I was laughing at. I was like, this is crazy,
So
fucking
when
bubble
you
butt.
when you were talking about the skinny jeans, all I could think about was that Chingy song. Damn girl, how'd you get all of that?
You terrible. That's gotta open the doors to some crazy shit, man.
Oh
But
my
anyway, I don't
gosh.
know if you can remember, but you remember what you was about to say before I started laughing?
Yeah, I feel like there are some kids that they're not given, the right shots because, not even just like clothes
Right,
or, money or anything like that. Maybe they don't have the right skin tone. That's a big thing too. Like, "Oh, yeah." And we faced that in some situations with my kids because my kids are biracial. And, recently we did have an incident where I was like, "So what? Because he's brown? Like,
right,
that's
right,
what the problem is?" Like, I don't I don't oh, that's a whole nother thing. But I feel like sometimes they give other kids that look, again, good on paper, those opportunities, and they pour more into them because they're like, "Hey, this kid gets a scholarship or gets some kind of special recognition. That's gonna boost our school. That's gonna boost our funds. It's gonna make more people send their kids to school here." Instead of
right,
putting that same amount of self-confidence into every single child, they're only
right.
focusing it on just a handful of select kids, and that's terrible. I hate.
Yeah, like I really think that that should be part of the prerequisite for getting a job as a teacher, right? Because you got to be sociable. You got to have
Absolutely.
social skills, and I think part of that has to do or should deal with like building people's confidence and self esteem,
Yep.
right? Because how can you be a teacher without motivational skills?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I really think that, that schools need to focus on that. You know what I mean? And because
Absolutely.
a lot of kids that have problems in school is because they feel excluded. or
Mm-hmm.
they're dealing with these demons, or they feel like they're less than, and they don't feel important. So yes, teachers should. That's why some of my kids' teachers that tell me they adore my kids, or just tell them on a regular basis, or do special things
Mm-hmm.
with them, and not with nobody else. That goes a long way. So those
Mm-hmm.
are the teachers that I commend. I tip my hat to them.
Absolutely.
Um, does having a good job lead to greater self confidence?
Hmm. I don't know. Like for me, like I whenever like whatever career path that I'm in, I
Right,
always give it 110% of my dedication. I am going to put everything I have into that one role, even if it doesn't seem glamorous to someone else. It's still a means to provide for my family. So
right,
I'm going to be confident in my ability to do that and do it well and
right.
just say, if you don't like it, there's the door. Nobody asked you to
Mm,
be here in the first place. Like
mm,
whether I'm flipping a burger or I'm stamping checks, selling cars, selling apartments. I've been in a lot of different career paths and
right,
I've always given it everything that I can give because it's at the end of the day, it's a reflection of myself too, not just that job. Like
right.
how everything gets done. Like if I am like, I'm not going to have a lot of, self respect for myself or anybody that comes here because maybe I work at McDonald's,
Mm,
then you're going to suck at that job.
right.
There are plenty of people that I have met going through drive-throughs and I'm like, "Wow, if you really hate it this much, there are other things that you can do. Have a little faith in yourself." Like, you obviously have cash handling experience, build on that. Go from
Hmm.
flipping burgers, go to a department store.
Right.
You have, point of sales experience. Slowly build yourself up.
Right. And it's
'Cause
not just that. Like, I think people need to stop worried about, because I think the people that say they hate their job, or the one that's down on themselves because of their job choice, I think those people are the ones that care too much about what people think of them.
Mhm,
Because guess what? A lot of times, and I know you probably can attest to this too. Like, a lot of times, people that's at Burger King or McDonald's or jobs like that, the people that's criticizing them are unemployed. So how can you
yep,
be unemployed talking about somebody that has a job? They're making a living. They get a paycheck. What are you doing? You looking for
yeah,
handouts. So you
uh,
have no room to talk.
nope,
But we talk about self-confidence, we talk about self-esteem. People that have them jobs, they care too much about what people think of them,
mhm,
to the point where they know they're making an honest living, and at least they got a paycheck, but it's weighing heavily on their mind about what people are saying, right? So
mhm,
so does a good job build lead to greater self confidence? I mean, yes, in the sense that, like, how people are going to view you,
mhm,
but at the end of the day, self confidence should be with self.
yep,
No, like you said, no matter what you do, if you flipping burgers, you stamping stamps. You got to be confident in yourself. You got to
mhm,
love yourself and know that no matter what I do in life, I'm going to love me, and I'm doing it for a reason, right? That goes back to what I was saying, like, about walking in your purpose. You have a
mhm,
purpose to be a provider, to be an earner. You know what I'm saying? And
yep,
and and, and that's what people need to focus on. A lot of times, people focus on the wrong things.
mhm.
So
They focus on, I
uh,
should have a fancy job, I should have a fancy car or a fancy home. How about I'm thankful I have a job. I'm thankful
yep,
I have a home. I'm thankful I
yep,
have a car.
right, yep. Look at it in a relationship. So you got one that's working, the other one that's not working, because the jobs they offer them a job, they say, I'm not doing that. I don't want people to fucking criticize me. Right now, you're in a relationship and there's no balance because only one's bringing in income.
Mhm,
Versus, well, let's say one of y'all got a high paying job, and you got a low paying job. Doesn't matter. Now y'all a team. Now y'all can both provide together.
right.
You be like, huh? What you got for today? This is what I got. Let's put the money on the table. Let's get things done as an adult. Let's
Mhm,
stand on our own let's stand on our own feet, 10 toes down, and do what we got to do.
Right.
right? Because that's what's necessary, and that's what people need to focus on. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And you know how you say you got to crawl before you walk. Well, guess what? Right now, you here.
Yep.
Don't let that be the end all be all. Focus, stay determined, stay driven, and worry about the next step, right? And
Hmm.
I started telling people a lot lately, like, come up with a vision board,
Hmm.
right? Create a vision board and say, all right, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be, and you build to that, right? Like each step. All right, boom. This is where I'm at. The next step is here. Next step is, and you build on it every day. You wake up. You should look at that vision board and be like, okay, and that should be your first motivation of the day. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do. I got a planner. And it's very effective. I start jotting things down. This is what I want to accomplish today. And guess what?
Hmm.
Like a year ago, I started doing this, and it's like it's a life changer.
Oh
It's
yeah,
game changing. You
absolutely.
know what I'm saying? Like it's good. And I try to put other people on that. You know, a couple people say they tried it, but it's keeping you organized. It's keeping you focused.
Hmm.
All right, so let me see. Let's talk about the next segment about healthy relationships and slash relationships in general. Um, does a higher level of education lead to better decision making in relationships?
No,
You say no.
no.
How come?
Because at the end of the day, people are still people.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter the level of education or lack of education that they have. We're all different personalities. And sometimes people just keep picking the same thing. They don't learn from that. They don't grow from that. And we're
Right.
all human. It doesn't matter if you went to Harvard or if you went to a community college. We all are going to have those stupid moments, like where we just say something so stupid
Right.
that it doesn't matter. I think it all comes down to personality, like who we are
Right.
as people.
Right. So I'm gonna put a little different spin on it real quick though. So I said, does a higher level of education lead to better decision making in relationships? Right. So I'm going to put a spin on it. And I'm gonna say yes because when we talk about tools to success, the tools of life, right? I feel like the more you know, the better you are, right? Like knowledge is key, right? They say knowledge is power, right?
Mhm.
So the more educated you are, the more tools you have in your toolbox. So when we talk about decision making in your relationship, well, you not only know how to love, you not only know how to nourish, you not only know how to provide, you not only know how to like protect. That's what I mean by tools, right? So to have the knowledge in all these areas, I feel like overall it'll lead to better decision making in your relationship, right? Because let's just say, like, if you think about it, like you take somebody from the hood, right? Because they don't care about better themselves. They're not for empowerment, right? They're limiting themselves versus somebody that go to school and they got all these accolades and they got a thirst for knowledge. They know how to navigate more than the person from the streets. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's what
Mhm.
for me. I think that higher education level for me it gives you more tools for success in a relationship. I think it helps you navigate your decision making. Right? Do you follow or no?
No, I follow.
So for me, yeah, because I asked somebody else this question yesterday, and they said the same thing you said. But I was like, see, I like I like complex things. I like questions that make you think, right? And I like to overanalyze things a lot.
Mhm.
And when I broke that down, that's what I said. I'm like, yeah, I think the more sophisticated, the more intelligence you have, you just have more to work with, right? And your decision making. It's like you take somebody at a lower social level or lower intellect when they're faced with adversity, they don't know how to channel that. So you take somebody that's a little bit more sophisticated. Well, guess what? They have they're not narrow minded. The world goes from this to this.
Mhm.
So whereas a lower level of intellect or social level, they see things through this lens, right? Now you're a little bit more sophisticated, right? Now it's like this. It's like, okay, well, this didn't work. Now I can go over here.
Mhm.
Where somebody down here, they're not going to see that far.
Right.
So it's like determination, right? Like if people that's on a lower scale, they not as determined. You know, they need that guidance. They need that person in life to push them, and then when they get pushed, they have to be strong enough to take that in and you know and blossom from there. That's why it's important to have the right people in your life and the right people
Mhm.
around you. You know, and how do we get there? We learn from mistakes, people, places, and things, right? And once you learn those things, guess what? Now you're a little bit more sophisticated, more intelligent than you was the day before. So for me, I look at that smile. You terrible. So okay,
Every day aspire to learn something new and grow.
I appreciate that. Uh, is fin is financial stability a prerequisite for a successful marriage?
That's a tough one because I do think you need to have more than $5 in your bank account.
Yeah.
Don't be like me. Um, but I don't think you need to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I do think you need to be very honest about what your financial situations are. Um, you know, tell someone, "Hey, I'm really bad with money," or "I am really bad about remembering to pay my bills on time," or "I have a lot of debt," or, "I've got, trust fund bonds that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars." 'Cause I've I've been on both sides of the spectrum.
Right.
I have been with someone who has a lot of money, and then I've been with someone who does okay. Like, they don't have a lot, but it gets the bills and shit paid, and had a better relationship with the person who did not have a lot of money,
Mm,
because the person that did have a lot of money, whenever there was something wrong, "Oh, what, you're sad? Instead of talking about it, here's some money," or
right.
"Here, go do this," or "Go do that." Instead of,
Right.
"Take the time out of your schedule and talk
Hmm.
to me," instead
Right.
of, "Oh, you're sad. Here's, like,
Yeah, the whole
a couple
respect
hundred
level is
bucks to go
different.
away."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
The
so
whole.
different.
Hmm. And the thing is, when you in a relationship with somebody that don't make as much money, but they're still trying, they're putting in the effort, that love that you're going to get from that person is going to be greater. Because
Oh,
guess
yeah.
what? I don't care how you cut that pie. Like their appreciation for you for sticking out, sticking it. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what
Just
you're
standing by them, it's going to mean a lot. They're going to
Oh,
value
yeah.
that through the roof. Now, if somebody got that money, they look at it like I got my own money, and now they looking
Mhm,
at you as a prized possession and not your partner.
mhm.
So the whole respect level changes, right? So I don't think that financial stability is a prerequisite. Money is necessary, obviously,
Right.
but that's how you find out who's there for you, and who's not.
Mhm.
That's where you can determine real love, because love should be love. Love should not be about how much you got in your bank account.
Right.
So when you talk marriage, this is the thing. Before marriage, so the question was, is it a prerequisite for marriage? This is the thing. Before marriage, you're in a relationship. So if you know these things beforehand, and it's a deal breaker for you, why are you talking about marriage? So like,
Exactly.
so you love that person for who they are, and as a team, you do whatever you can to help that man or that
Mhm.
woman make it work, right? So prerequisite now.
Nope.
Uh,
Just be a decent human being and have more than $5 in your bank account.
oh, this is a good question for you. I know we've both been in this situation before. Can relations with significant age differences work in the long term?
Oh, because I do love me some old men.
That's old. How much older?
So my ex-husband was 15 years older than me.
Jesus, I'm out. But go ahead, finish.
Um, So I think I think it's going to depend on the person too, because there's there's a 15-year age gap there, right? Um, Automatically everybody's like, "Ooh, she's young. She's probably gonna, stay with you for a little bit and then be like, I miss going out and partying. I miss doing this. I miss doing that." All because they did have one relationship like that. This
Mm,
person, not they weren't it wasn't them together, but she had started having kids at a very early age, been in a very serious relationship at an early age, and then into her middle adulthood is when they were together. And then all of a sudden she's like, "Yeah, you know what? I don't want to be a mom anymore. I don't want to be a wife anymore. I just want to go, pop lock and drop it wherever I can." And then that
right.
judgment got passed on to me, and I'm like, "I'm not like that. I wasn't even like that before we got together. I've always been a pretty conservative person."
Right.
Uh, so I think it can work if there's maturity, and not just the younger person's side, but also the older person's side. Because I dated someone that was older than me. I had more maturity in my pinky finger than they had in their entire 6'4" frame.
Right. Right. Right.
So it really, I think, depends on the person. And I will flip
Right.
that into retrospect. When you are going to be in a relationship, whether it's the male that's older or the female's older, there are a lot of things to think about. There are a
Hmm.
lot of things health wise to think about. And there are a lot of things to think about financially too. Because say there's, like in my situation, if there was a 15-year age gap, they're going to retire way before I retire. So
Hmm.
you have to have, if you're working, you've got to think about, oh, I still need income for myself. I need health benefits for myself. I still have to save for my own retirement. So there's a lot of different things to think about, and especially on the health aspect of it, because bodies break down. Like, are you going to be okay with your partner not being able to get up and, like take a long road trip somewhere or
Right.
be able to go hiking or something? Not that I'm ever going to hike, but that they won't be able to do those things. Like, you have to be okay to accept those limitations that are just naturally going to happen.
Right.
So I think it can work. It's just it's
Mhm.
a lot of give and take. It's not an easy relationship.
Yeah, I was just about to say it'd be very difficult, because the thing is, it might be cool in the moment, right? But like, I feel like the difficulty comes with age, obviously. Like as the years progress, and
Mhm.
they get older, and you still got your youth, and you got to look at their bodies deteriorating. Like you said, it's. Are you gonna be strong enough to stick it through?
Right.
Just stick with them, stand by their side. So I think that's gonna be the hardest thing. Like you said, 15 years. It's like think about it. 15 years is a lot on the body
It
and on your
is.
physical. So your bones cracking, and they might, oh, give me a hand with this. You can be like, listen, motherfucker, like get your shit together. So do I think it's possible? Yes, but I it's definitely not for the weak, and I think it's
No.
extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. Especially when you get to that point where, like you were saying, like, oh, I had my days when I did that. I don't want to do that. That don't
Mhm.
interest me. Or if they want to do old man or old ladies type shit, and you look at them like, wait, I am not there yet. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, and then if you detach it from that and say,
Mhm.
well, shit, well, I can't see myself doing that. I'm not there yet, so I'm gonna go do my own thing. Now we talked about self confidence earlier. That
Mhm.
man or that woman that's older, their self confidence is going to be in the gutter. And they're going to be like, oh damn, they about to go cheat on me. Now they're going to be emotionally fucked up.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And you might not be doing nothing. And then guess what? Now bringing the arguments when y'all want to argue about it, you being a younger person, like, listen, I ain't got time for this. I'm gonna find somebody my own age. Like, so it's is it doable? Sure, but it's not for the weak, and I think it's extremely difficult. Um, all right, how about this? Should couples keep secrets to protect their partner's feelings?
In some instances, I think yes.
All right. So, what instances? What would justify keeping a secret from your significant other? I can't hear you.
I'm trying to think how to choose my words.
Uh-oh.
So, um, I had made something
Hmm.
which I was very proud of. It had gotten some good feedback, except from one person,
Mm.
and maybe, and I don't think it was meant. I don't think it was meant to be malicious, but it came off as such.
See, this is the crazy thing. Not to cut you off. I don't know how much you're able to divulge at the moment, but I need more details because
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, oh, what's she talking about? Oh, this is juicy, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Um, yeah, we may have to circle back. I may have to just talk to you about that one off the air.
I got you. I got you.
But no, I mean, say like we'll just choose a very generic example. Say
Okay.
I have this dress and it is fire engine red with green stoplight circles on it. And it is just the most hideous thing that anyone else has ever seen. But
Right.
that one person that's wearing it is like, I love this dress.
Mm.
Let them love that. Don't rain on their parade. Don't
So,
don't say, you know what? That's the ugliest fucking thing I have ever seen in my entire life. If I love it, I love it. And I have been told that before. And I'm still gonna rock that shit because I love it and I feel confident in it.
so okay. I will say this. Me, I listen. I am a loving person. I am a caring person. But let me tell you something. If my girlfriend wore something hideous, I'm gonna let it be known. But I'm gonna say it in a joking way, and I know whether it's said in a joking way or a serious manner, she gonna take it the same way regardless. I know this, but
Mhm.
at least for me, the way I justify it, the way I rationalize in my mind is, hey, I was joking. Even if I know for a fact that I'm dead ass serious, I've done it forever. I don't care. Like, I do care, but I don't care. Like if it's hideous, I'm like, what the fuck? This is the last time you're gonna wear it because I'm about to burn that shit at the end of the night. And that's how I be coming. And you get a little emotional, but I'm like,
Right.
you need a hug. You need a hug. Come here, come here, come here. So I would try my best to make you feel loved, but I'm not gonna love what you're wearing if I don't like it. If
Mhm.
I think it's atrocious, I'm gonna tell you that it's fucking hideous.
Right.
Who did you rob? Somebody in the nursing home? Like I let it be known, but I'll try to make you laugh or smile. I might rub
Right.
your feet or do something I haven't done in months to compensate for it. But yeah, for me, I gotta let you know. What the fuck is she said? All different colors. Oh my god.
No,
No,
I love
no.
my mom. She is the most my mom is like my best friend, but she is the most brutally honest person next to
Mm.
someone else that I know. Um, and her and I were out shopping and I had tried on this dress and I really loved it. Like it was kind of like waterfall colors and it was
Right.
flowy. And I came out and I was like, "What do you think?" She goes, "I think you're one of the lost Golden Girls. Is that what you were going for?" I'm like, as much as I love the Golden Girls, mom, that was kind of harsh.
Wow. Yeah. Did y'all laugh about it?
We
Cause
laughed about it. Like, yeah,
uh,
we laughed about it, but it kind
mm.
of hurt for a second.
And so yeah, so we was talk about healthy relationships, right? So one of the important things is in a healthy relationship is active listening in a relationship, right?
Mhm.
It's like so like active listening it takes you further than just hearing the other person's words. Because a
Mhm.
lot of times people pretend to be engaged or to pretend to be listening, but it goes in one ear out the other, right? So so that's like I said, it's active listening versus just hearing the words.
Mhm.
Um, because if you're actively listening, it's going to resonate with the other party. They're going to see that you're really listening, right?
Right.
And so that's part of communication in your relationship. So that's what's going to make it healthy,
Hmm.
because say for instance you just going through the motions, you like this, and they ask you a question out of the blue, like you'll be lost. So you actually
Hmm.
got to sit there. You got to be engaged. If you're going to be in a relationship, you should be engaged anyways. So you got
Hmm.
to practice active listening, because that's how you're going to resolve any issues in your relationship,
Right.
right? So shit. Um, should couples always share everything, or is there a place for personal space and secrets? This goes back. It's kind of touching on what we were just saying, but it's a little different. Should they share everything, or is there a personal space, right? Or is there a place for personal space and secrets? What do you think?
I don't know so much like secrets, but maybe, some past experiences that you've had before a partner
Right
don't always need to be shared. Like, you
now,
can keep that part to yourself.
now, what if your partner asks about your past or about past relationships? Do you think that that's you should keep that secret, or keep that from them, or should you give them what they're asking for and answer their question?
I I think you could answer that, but answer it in a answer it, but maybe not go into full detail. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, only give them the necessary information.
See, that's the thing. So me, it's when you it's if you talk about answering it, it's only one way to answer it, truthfully. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I find that a problem in a lot of relationships. They ask the questions, they really don't want the answers, because when you give it to them, they get mad. Now y'all arguing. Now y'all beefing. Now one's on the couch and one's sleeping in the car. Like it's crazy. So for me,
Mhm.
like I said, I live and I learn. Like people, you ask about my past, like I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you, but then I stopped doing that shit. But what bites you in the ass is they find out somehow through a family member or something that you post, or you might be on the phone with somebody and you rehashing your life with them, and then they hear it right secondhand, and then they like, oh, you never told me that, and then you're like, oh shit. So,
Right.
but I don't think that you should tell everything, right? It depends on what the subject matter is, I would say.
Right.
Yeah, because I think it'll cause problems. Like for instance, I girls always ask this question. They're like, "Oh, about a body count. How many women you slept with?" And the thing is, when I was younger, I used to keep it real. Like, I slept with this amount. And they're like, "That you wild, you crazy." But as I got older, it became problematic. I used to tell
Mhm.
girls, like, "Yo, I had sex with this many people, but I
Mhm.
not voluntary. You asking me, and I answered. And they're like, I can't fuck with you. Like, wait, what happened? We was vibing. Everything was great. Well, you're a hoe. I'm like, stop. And they're like, yeah,
Mhm.
nah, you dirty. I'm like, dirty? I'm clean. Like, nah, a man that sleep with that many women, mean they have no respect for women. So at that point in time in my life, I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to answer that question again. Never.
And
Maybe
I
if a
hate
dude
that
asks
too
me, I'm like,
because
yeah,
because like when, there are women that like sex. Just like
sex is
there are
great.
men that like sex. Sex is fantastic.
Hmm.
But because, because you're a guy and you have a high body count, you're just a dog. Or
Yeah.
if you're a girl and you've got a high body count, you're just a hoe. And it's like, can't people just like having sex and it
Yeah,
not
yeah.
be a stigma around it that you a hoe?
Now I do agree with that, but it's hard because so I agree with that, but this is the thing. When it comes to me trying to lock a girl down, and I know she got a high body count, it makes me n- not want to take her serious.
Mhm.
Because I think, see, some people say like double standards. I don't want to say it's a double standard, but this one, I think it's different between a male and a female. I think a woman should have more respect for themselves. Not saying that men shouldn't have respect for themselves, but I think women should treat their body like a temple, and they should have more respect for themselves. They should hold their shit sacred. Right now, a guy that loves sex, this is my thing. If I meet a girl and I find her attractive, do I want the sex to have some motherfucking lutely? But guess what? You know what I find more attractive? The girls that make me work for it. I hate it in the moment, but I appreciate it in the long run. And it's sexy to me. It's a turn on. Because I am confident that I'm going to get what I want. So it's like you tell me no, it ain't gonna happen. I'm like, what? Now I'm on a mission. I'm like, yo, nah. Did she just say that? Nah. She gave me the time of day, right? For me, once you give me the time of day, you open them doors. Oh, it's curtains. It's gonna be mine. So now I'm gonna work for it. And when I get it, I feel like I conquered the world. I feel like that's a
Mhm.
feat for me, right? So that's more attractive to me. You make me weak. Like in a moment, no, I ain't gonna like it.
Right.
But like I said, so I just think women should have more respect for themselves and their body as opposed to men, because we are who we are,
Mhm.
and yeah, and that's that. But sex is fantastic. It
That's
is,
everybody
especially
has the 3-date rule. I
the
don't go
what's
by
that?
the 3-date rule, like, where you can't have sex until the 3rd date.
Oh nah,
Woo I have a 1-month rule.
1 month.
We,
Fuck
like,
that.
have to have been together for a month
Oh
and
nah.
be, like, on the path to, like, a serious commitment to each other. Like,
Oh nah.
it's not
See,
gonna
for
be 3
me,
dates and then jars off.
it might be draws off on the first day. I know how to. I know how to navigate. I know how to navigate. I'm just saying. You know
Many
what
have
I'm saying? Like
tried.
so now you're making this personal. This is crazy. I'm not even going to do that to you right now. But yeah, you said many are trying. You may say, listen, if I was in Indiana, it'd be curtains. That's how confident I am. I mean, you live and you learn. You know, people, places, things like. But
I'm
I
confident.
just, I just know me. Like you, at the end of the day, it's about knowing a woman, right? Like we were saying earlier, women want to feel valued. They want to feel like a princess. They want to feel like a queen. They want to feel valued. They want to feel love. They want to feel that security. Not saying you use this as a manipulation tool, but when you get a woman that feels like she's on top of the world, and then you're charming, and then you do what you do, it's just like it just makes things a little bit more easier. When you have her that woman longing for you, y'all spend time together, and it don't even be 5 minutes when you leave, and they already texting you, already calling you. Listen, it's a high probability with somebody like me that the next time I see you, it might be curtains. I might be wearing the panties around my neck. I'm just saying.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
god.
and not to put you in a category with nobody else, but like a lot of women say many have tried, and I just be who I am, and then say not no more because I don't think you should ever throw nothing in nobody's face. When I was younger, I used to be like, I thought you said you're gonna make me wait X amount of time. It's just what happened. But I don't no longer do that because I don't think any man should do things like that. You
Right.
should just smile inwardly and just accept it and embrace you for being you and being special. So that's my approach. I'm like, yeah, I feel good. I feel good. How about you?
I feel good.
I feel fantastic. Oh, you want to go again? But
Like,
anyway,
I already started.
it's terrible. Oh, we try to roll into this next question. Is conflict inevitable in a healthy relationship, or should couples strive to avoid disagreements?
Again, it's gonna happen. You are
Right,
2 different personalities. And if, you know, say in a relationship, you have kids, if you have a blended family, it's bound and determined to happen. It may
right,
be something they said to you that pissed you off. It may be something that they said to one of the kids or one of the kids said to them that pissed them off, that they brought it to you and it pissed you off, and then you're mad at them, and it's going to happen. It's all those different personalities. It's bound and determined to happen. The most important thing is when there are disagreements like that. Me
right,
personally, I have got to I've got to step away from the situation for a moment to process how I want to approach that and how I want to handle that. Because I
right.
was
And
in a relationship where I didn't have time to process. And because I just kept being pushed and pushed and pushed and had no personal space to breathe in that situation, I lashed out and I said things I didn't really mean to say,
right,
but you can't think during that time.
right,
So honor that space if your partner says, you know what? this really upset me. It really bothered me, but I need a minute to process this before I speak because you can't take words back. You can say
Mm.
you are sorry until it's the last breath that leaves your body, but that is always going to be in someone's mind. They can tell you, I didn't mean to say that because I was upset. But that same thing is going to repeatedly process in that person's brain, whether you meant it from your heart or you just meant it out of hate.
Right. Um, hold on one second. Try to order food. Um, so yeah, like so is conflict inevitable? Yeah, yes. You can't run from what's to come. Like it's problems no matter where you go. You can't avoid disagreements or conflict, right? So the people that think that they can are what we would classify as a narcissist, right? Because it's like you try to control the situation by fleeing from that situation. You're not trying to deal with your problems head on, right? So so if you're trying to run from disagreements in your relationship, it's like you, that means like if you're fleeing from it, you're never sitting there and trying to make it work with your partner, right? It's like you're trying to, oh,
Mhm.
it's a problem, I'm out. So therefore, it's going to be a repeated cycle, right? You're always going to have a problem, right? So you need to work through it to get rid of it.
Mhm.
Um, so that's that. So how can couples navigate disagreements constructively without resorting to negativity or passive aggressive passive aggressive behavior?
I think by knowing, like, because sometimes, you may have a disagreement early on in your relationship. Sometimes it may take time for that to happen.
Right,
Um, like knowing how that person reacts to a
right,
situation, whether
right,
it's with you, whether it's with a friend, a coworker, anything like that. How they react to that could be how they react to you. And like in
right,
my situation, both parties are very much I don't like this, but I don't want to speak on it until I've had time to kind of collect myself and
right.
collect the words that I want to say. Cuz
Right. So we all need that time to
yeah.
decompress. You know,
Oh yeah.
like you were saying, you like to remove yourself from the situation
Mhm.
to assess the situation, and I think that's key, right? It's definitely key, and like I said, it's about communication at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, um, the the role of nonverbal communication in a relationship, um, like how do you interpret that correctly?
Um Nonverbal, like, body language?
Yeah, like body language and stuff, and any kind of communication that's not verbalized. Like, how do you, like, interpret that in a relationship? Like, how should that be looked upon? Because like, sometimes people get frustrated and, like, they can't articulate their words properly, and they talk with their hands, or they might slouch, or they might seem, like, uninterested in something, or angry where when in all actuality, they're not really angry, they just frustrated because they can't articulate their words.
Mhm.
So how should in a relationship, how should we look at that, the nonverbal communication? How much value should we hold on that?
I mean, if you're upset about something with your partner or something, outside of your relationship with them, you can obviously tell when someone's upset. They don't really talk very much, or when they do, they might be snappy. They distance themselves from you. Just how I do it. Like, hey, are you okay? Like, you're not, really saying very much, but
Right,
I can tell by your movements, like, your vibe is off. Like,
right,
what's going on? Like, let's figure this out. Is it something I did?
right,
Um, is it something that happened, at work? Is it something going on with someone else? And hopefully you both are mature enough that if it isn't something that is between the two of you, that you cannot take that out on your partner, because that's
Right.
also, it's also very unfair.
Yeah, so I think it's also comes down to like just knowing your partner, right? Like
Mhm.
if you're in a relationship and you don't know who each other are, then y'all got a lot of work to do, right? So if you're gonna
Mhm.
be in a relationship, you should identify those characteristics and those traits with your partner, right? Because when we talk about nonverbal communication, well, that goes like I said, if you know certain things about your partner, you should be able to assess it differently. You should be able to be like, okay, I know he's frustrated right now, or I know she's frustrated right now. So now, not let me not look at that as a negative, right? Let me focus on what he's saying, the
Mhm.
message he's trying to convey, right? I think that's how we should look at things, right? You got, like I said, communication, just knowing each other, right? Because a lot of times people do get in relationships and they don't even know who they land with,
Yep.
right? They with them for the wrong reasons. Because people, if when you're in a relationship, you should want that person for the right reasons, and if you want them for the right reasons, guess what? You know them inside and out, right?
Mhm.
So that's important. Um, how can couples ensure that their communication is open and honest, even when dealing with difficult topics?
Ah, well, I think first and foremost, maybe just being really honest at the beginning of the conversation, be like, this is very difficult for me to talk about.
Hmm.
It may take me a few minutes to get the right words. Like
Right,
for me personally, if it's something that needs to be discussed, but it's something very hard for me to talk about,
right,
I will be like, I need to talk about something. You know how I am. It's very hard for me to open up to start out with.
right,
So I need to be able to say this without any interruptions, interjections. Just let me just get it out. And then you bring your feedback after that.
right.
Because if I get interrupted in the middle of that, it's it's kind of a trigger for me
Mm,
that I will shut down immediately.
and that's never good. So yeah, so like boundaries and standards, I think goes a long way, right? Like once you set those boundaries and those your limitations, and like it's the basic building blocks to any relationship. Like those are kind of things that should be prerequisites for being in a relationship with you. These are things that we should all go over, like at the very beginning of that relationship. So now, when we face with these difficult topics, we know how to deal with that person. It goes back to what I was saying about knowing your partner,
Mhm.
right? It's like difficult topics shouldn't affect you, right? If you know who each other are,
Right.
and communication and honesty is very important. Like you should be able to talk to your partner. You should be able to talk about any and everything,
Yep.
right? You need to build that friendship, and that friendship should be like a best friend. Once you
Mhm.
get to that level, I don't think there's a such thing as a difficult topic,
Right.
because you should be able to confide in your partner. You got to pour into that person, and he or she should pour into you, right? You got to give your all, and you should get the same in return.
Yep.
So that's my take on that. So yeah, we almost at 2 hours. And this is a lot of other stuff we could obviously talk about. We both talkers, but I'm going to conclude for today. We always stay in touch, so there's no issues there. So all the viewers, just make sure you keep liking, sharing, commenting, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Um, and yeah, just catch me on the next episode. I had people texting me. It's crazy. I had people texting me, "Oh, are you free next week?" So like, I'm like, I was, a couple times you see me look down. I was looking at my phone. I'm like, I gotta check my calendar because I got like so many people. This one person that hit me up. They um they're managing these artists and these rappers and try to get their name out there. So I'm looking forward to having them on. They're gonna do a little freestyles or whatever case may be. I'm trying to help put them out there, put their name out there. So that's gonna be interesting. But I told he one of the ones to text me. I'm like, I gotta check because I got stuff scheduled all through the month.
Mhm.
all the way to like the 28th and like the first week of May. And it's crazy because last week because I always I accept, and I be
Mhm.
forgetting sometimes that like next Monday I'm on two people's show next week.
Mhm.
I'm a guest on their show, so that's on Monday. So
Fine.
I know I'm not gonna do a podcast on Monday because I'm on two other people's shows.
Right.
And when I accepted it, I forgot. And then I went to my notepad and I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like,
What
like
had
today I
happened
did too.
was
But I enjoy doing this. I got the extra free time because I'm not working right now. So it's cool, man. I enjoy it, man. But until next time, Amy, stay safe, work on that confidence and stop hiding, walk in your purpose and keep being positive and keep smiling and keep being your little combination of Roxanne and all that. Because that's what makes you you. And next time it's a free for all in the house, just join in. Hit somebody with the people's elbow or the stunner. Yeah,
I do have a
there you
pretty
go.
good right hook.
Oh shit, I don't want to fix that. That's crazy. And yeah, all right, so yeah, we'll talk. And I gotta keep planning for my trips. I'm definitely going to Tennessee. And yeah, the other state, I got to figure it out because I also got to go see my father in North Carolina. So it's really three trips if you want to look at it that way.
Right.
So I think June, September, and November. I think I'll be out of here for like a week each time. So Tennessee, here I come.
Tennessee.
But you've been there before, right?
I lived there for 3 years.
See, there you go. So before we go on, where do you recommend me going since this will be my first time? And what do you recommend I do?
Um, so like the usuals, the Smoky Mountains is great. Like get a cabin up there. It's
Mm.
beautiful. There are plenty of things you can do that do not cost a crap load of money. If you do go and you want to spend money on something, I would go to Dollywood.
Was it Valleywood?
Dollywood, like Dolly
Oh,
Parton.
Dollywood.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look
Like
that up.
yeah, they've got stuff for kids, they've got stuff for adults. Like there's music, there's rides, there's all kinds of different things. And like the scenery cannot be beat. It is absolutely stunning up there. And plus they've got a lot of trails you can walk. They've got a lot of like little mom and pop shops and stuff that you can do. Like it's a really fun time.
Hopefully, I can catch a country concert. I don't know how well that'll be with bringing the kids, but I love to do like a country concert, man. Because yeah, I'm a black man, but I listen to country,
You will
and I
definitely
never
like my
was.
song then,
Which one? Say,
because
see,
it's a country song.
which one?
The one I was trying to tell you about the other day.
I listened to it.
Yeah.
So
I
I
have
will say
another
this.
one too. I just haven't released it yet.
So you gotta let me hear this shit. That's crazy. So I wasn't you. So the one song I think it was a cover. The one you let me listen to on YouTube. What was that one called?
Uh, I don't remember which one that was, but the one that I posted that's actually my own original.
Oh, you wrote it.
Mhm.
So I'm about to go back and listen to the words in detail this time. There was a few parts where you did sound like you was hiding. Like say for instance, if it was live and you was just like hiding. Um, but I thought it was good overall. It's just a couple points. It's like it did sound like you was unsure,
A lot of
right?
times when I'm recording, it's late because that's the only time that it's quiet. And
Okay,
sometimes
maybe
I
that's what
do hold back a little bit.
that's what that's the best way I could have put it. It
Yeah.
sounded like he was holding back at certain parts because like you listen to it, you're like okay, and then it's like oh, the pitch is different. How come it sounds like she's fading away? So that's why I said hiding. So I was like, dang, why she ain't keep it going? But yeah, it was good.
I'll play the
Yeah,
other one for you. I wasn't hiding as much in that one, so
okay. All right. Like I said, I appreciate that, and I'm definitely going to Tennessee, man. So Dolly, was it Dolly? What
Dollywood.
Dollywood? I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to Google that, see how that is, and yeah, see what else I can figure out in Tennessee. But I am going. I am excited,
Woohoo.
and then yeah, man. So all right. Until next time. Have a
Bye.
good night.
You too.
Bye.